All right, welcome everybody to the fifth, I believe, Library Resources Lab session today on Springer Nature Resources, specifically Springer Link. And we have with us Dennis Gaynor, Account Development Manager, who's going to be talking about Springer Link and maybe showing a very quick screen of another Springer Nature product, as well as talking about how to access nature journals. So I'm going to turn that over to him, and can share your screen, and please type your questions in the chat if you have any.
Okay, thanks. Do I need permission to share?
You do, and I'm totally blanking on that. There we go.
Okay. Just let me know when my screen pops up.
Okay. Okay, we can see it now.
All right, excellent. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm just going to go through today just some navigation tips for both platforms, our Springer Link and our nature.com portfolios, because you have a good amount of titles for both and some really valuable content. So it makes sense to just kind of touch base and go over some tips on how to access this information. So for your account, really the starting point would be here on the Kelvin Smith library page, right? And then you would just go to the databases link. And then so for Springer Nature, of course, we would just click on S, and then you'll just scroll down and you'll see a couple. There will be Springer Nature Experiments. So that's actually refers to our protocols product. That's a specific product in its own. But then Springer Link is the actual platform where you find, as it says, journal articles, book chapters, and the other content. That's whereas Experiments is really specifically if you're kind of working at the bench. And then for Nature, I think the best way to do that is from the starting point, you would, instead of going to databases, you would just use the eJournals link, right? And that'll take you to your Nature content. And that's where I'm going to start here. So let me just share some slides first. Okay, and we'll just look at just the nature.com site. So let me just enlarge this. And so when you come up to nature.com, it's going to really show you the flagship title first, our Nature journal, which is the oldest scientific journal and really the most respected and used journal in the world. So that will be the feature. And then you just have these navigation links to start with. So when you explore content,
yep. Sorry to interrupt. We're only seeing our homepage still.
Oh, okay. Why did that happen?
If you're, yeah, I guess if you have to share a slide, if you're using, assuming you're using slides.
I am. All right, let me go back then. Sorry.
That's okay.
Stop share, and then I'll start it again. Is there a separate screen, or I don't see anything that says share slides?
I think if you go to share screen, the little up arrow, well, let's see. And no, not the up arrow. You just click share screen, and then depending on which version of Zoom you have, there should be a thing that shares specifically whatever slide. Yeah.
Okay, that should do
there
it.
We go. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is the homepage. Like I said, it's going to feature the flagship, and it has your navigations from here. right, to explore your content. It has the specific journal information. For authors, you can publish with us. So Nature, I should mention, Nature is currently in the transformative stage to becoming fully open access, which it never was before. This just started in January. So some of this information for publishing with the journal will be updated, and that's helpful to have. You can view all the journals, A to Z list of everything on the platform. But I think most users are going to use the search functionality, right? They may want to browse by journal, but typically you want to type in a search term and start that way. And then we'll have breaking news and updated, highlight articles will populate the rest of the homepage. So going down further into this, so the Explore content drop down, you can see now this is, as I said, specific to the flagship for the most part, the current issue. You can browse the issues here, and then it'll show you the different collections and subject to kind of start your research that way. Further down, it's just going to be another selection of articles that are relevant and recent. And then we do have the cover image. So if you wanted to just click on the cover image of the journal, that would take you directly to the most recent issue, and then you can kind of navigate the entire title that way. All right, and then below that, there is a news section too. So you can see, well, this was created around then, so it's still pretty recent, but you can click through and then it'll have related articles as well. Those are selected by the Nature editorial team. And then no matter how far you go down in your search, you're always going to have the breadcrumb trail at the top. So if you start to kind of go down the research rabbit hole, you can always start back at the beginning or click back to whatever you were searching for previously. The other cool thing, and this is on the homepage itself too. So as you scroll down, once you get past the highlighted articles, the news articles, then there are the top altmetric score articles. So just as a reminder, the altmetric scores are based on the amount of online engagement the articles are receiving, through shares, social media posts, blogs, news outlets that publish them. So you can see here were the top 3 in August. But then, like I said, I think most researchers, when they start, if they come to nature.com and they have a topic in mind, they are going to start with the search bar. And here you can do that in the more general way. Just clicking, obviously, on the search magnifying glass icon, or there is the advanced search as well. So you can, start a little more drilled down. So this is the advanced search. So you can see it really works the same way as a Google search would work. If you want to put any content item that contains a specific term, you can put that in there. If you have an author's name in mind, you can enter that. If you want to type in, a random search term that is part of a title, but you can't remember the exact title, or if you just want to see what pops up in that search, you would input it there, and then your date range, of course. And then you do have the ability to specify a journal. This is dynamic search. So if you start typing in a journal, it'll populate what's available. All right, so let's say you did that. Let's say this was the search. All right, someone wanted to search nanotechnology. So this is the results page that's going to pop up. So just to the right, you can see this is going to be some related information for you based on that search. But then you can see here, it's returning over 9,000 results. So a lot to go through, but you can drill down here. So there are a couple of filters. One is the article type. Probably most likely you would be using the research articles. There are also news items, there are editorials, commentaries. all different sorts of article types on nature.com. So you can filter that way. Then obviously you have your journal titles, if you want to get specific there, and then date ranges. And it's always going to be sorted by relevance based on the term. You can change that to date range or use it in the filter here. And then in the actual results, you can see, so you have, this is the type of article. So this, the first one here is a review, date of publication, of course, article title, a bit of an abstract there that you can click on. You have your author info. And then this is the journal it's in. So this is a Nature Food article. And you can click through there. So let's say we click on that first article. So now we're on the article page. So first things first, right here in the top right corner, one click, you can download the PDF. You can download this article right there. You can also search through the table of contents. It's all here, and you can click through. It'll take you directly through it. Same for the figures and references. And a couple of cool features here on the actual article page. So you have your author information here, but you can see that there's this envelope icon is there. So that'll give you the author information. It'll have links to other publications by those authors. And in some cases, it'll actually give you a direct link to email them directly. So if you come across an interesting article and you have some questions about it that you think, the author would, be the one to best address those questions, you can actually email them directly right from here. Same, you can cite the article with a quick link there. And then you could go back, and if you read this article and said, this is interesting, let me see what else, this journal has to offer. Then you can click on the title and go back to, and then browse the, volumes and issues for that specific journal. And the last bit that's pretty cool is journal metrics are here. So this one from June 2020 has over 1,500 accesses or downloads so far. Salt metric scores there. In some cases, it'll show you the number of times it's been cited too. So I think some interesting information to have when you're kind of starting your search here. Then, so this is further down the page. So then it just kind of goes into detail a little bit. So like I said, you have the metrics here. It's going to give you some information on that. The cross-reference is the number of shares, if that was registered there. And then for alt metrics, so this is a color-coded circle, if you want to call it this, the icon it uses. It just explains to the researcher what exactly it is. So you can see its score is 35, and it kind of shows you the definition of how they calculate that. You can see it's 46 tweeters, and then there were 2 blog posts included in that article. All right, the other thing you can do here is register. So again, through your institution, you have access to a lot of content on nature.com, and that's just simple when you log in. But there are other features here if you wanted to register. Then when you log in, it's really just personalizing your searches for related content and things like that, as you would, kind of think of, the way Amazon, does related things. You may also like this kind of thing. And you would simply just enter your basic information. And then the last bit would be just your kind of preferred alerts, what subject areas you're interested in. And you can specify to have this sent as an email for you, but just by filling that out, it just sets up your profile in a way where, like I said, when you're on the site itself, the related searches, the related content items will come up based on what you input there. And then this is at the very bottom of the homepage. So this is really general. It's all encompassing of the site. So you can see this, you have your A to Z journal list. You can browse by subject. It has all these various links out, author services, the different global sites. So it just links out anything related to nature itself. But yeah, I think, you know, as a researcher or a student, when you're on the platform, I think the search bar is what you're going to use, and it's really the most helpful, especially with those filters in place that I had highlighted before. And the last thing I just want to point out, this goes the same for the Springer Link platform, is just the commitment to accessibility, just to ensure that, you know, our websites, they're all compatible with the most recent versions of screen readers, screen magnifiers, speech recognition software, and that's all in place. And then there is a link that I will share in case you wanted to read up more about that. All right, so that's nature.com. And let me just, so I think my screen should have probably stopped sharing now. Let me just make sure I do this correctly so I can get up to the actual platform itself. And Evan, just let me know when this pops up.
Will do.
Now I've figured it out.
And actually, you might address the one question we had so far, which is, you know, do we have to do anything special to get access to content on the website, on the Nature website? I'm pretty sure the answer is just single sign-on through our institution. Yep. And then, okay, yeah. So
yeah, exactly. Once you're logged in, yeah, anything that your institution has access to, you have access to right there, and it'll be as simple as when we were on the article page, and there's just that button that pops up, download PDF, and that's it.
Thanks.
Sure. So this is the live homepage. I just wanted to bring it up just to kind of show you what we just went through. So again, this is nature.com. These are all drop downs, right? And this is specific to the flagship title. But just to give you an idea, so there is this going to be a rotating highlight article at the top. And then we come down so you can see these are all most recent articles from the journal. And then here is the cover image, right? So we click that, and then now we're at the Nature journal page for article for volumes and issues, right? So you can see what's new this week. And again, Nature, the journal itself, publishes very, very frequently. So you're probably all aware of that by now. So there's a lot of content that comes daily, really. All right, going back to the homepage real quick. Right, so we'll have some news and commentaries. Right, it really just breaks down the most recent different types of articles that are here. Reviews and analysis, research articles, and then yeah, there is this note here. This is what I had mentioned before. So Nature is now a transformative journal, which it was forever. I think 1869 is when Nature first published. I think I have that date right. It's never been open access at all. But like I said, at the start of 2021, now it's in that transition, starting to move closer towards gold open access. Further down, so yeah, here are the collections, the alt metrics, as I had mentioned. So if we want to just click on this one, you can see, you go right to the article page. All right. And then there's information about Nature careers and other things. And then this is where we ended off. All right, so let me just do, while we're here and we have time, I'll do just a quick search. So let me start, so right, I just click here, and then the advanced search is right below this box. So if you wanted to start here, and let's just type in carcinoma, and then contains. Let's do techniques. So pretty general to start, but we'll do the last 5, 6 years. Okay, 2016 to 2021. I'm going to leave the rest of this blank and just start with that search. So we do that. And here's that results page that we were talking about. So the first thing I'll point out is you'll see a lot of this now on nature.com. This in red, it'll show you open access. So obviously you can access all of that stuff. And there is a lot of it. And again, then you have your filters here. So you can go, so Nature Communications, I know, is fully OA. Let me try this one. Actually, let me just go down further and I'll find a non-OA article. I just want to show you how that will look. But you see, you have your full 1,520 results there. Let me just pick a sample. So let's say this is an interesting article to you from there. Now we'll see what we had looked at in the slide deck. Okay, your breadcrumb trail, right? Published date, July 19th. You have your article title, and then you have your authors, of course, and you'll see if you want to click on this. So for this author, you can see their other publications, their information. And like I said, in some cases, you actually can email them directly. You have your downloads or accesses, citations, alt metrics, and then the table of contents, of course, is on the right. And then this is the journal title, so Nature Materials. So if you're done with that article, you want to go back. Now you're on the homepage of that journal, right? So they're all the journal, the title pages are uniform, but we can see this is specific for that title. And then lastly, just to give you an idea, so, you know, if you did want to start here with the A to Z, you know, this is every single journal that's on nature.com. You can browse this list. Most people, I think, will come to the ends. And then there you go. These are all the Nature branded titles that are there. So you can always start your search that way as well. Okay, so that's just a quick kind of a live demo of what those slides had showed us. Okay, so now let me come out of this, and I'd like to show you the other platform. And again, so I'm going to go to my slides now, Evan. So just let me know when you can see the PowerPoint for Springer Link.
I see what looks like a browser for it, but not the slides yet. There we go.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Okay, so that was nature.com, which obviously you guys have a pretty fair amount of content on there. The other one is Springer Link. So Springer Link is where you would go for books content. Of course, there are no ebooks on nature.com, but Springer Link is going to house its own journals, ebooks, and this is where Springer Nature experiments or protocols, as we call it, that's all housed here. So another platform I think that you would be using a lot. Let me just enlarge this. And yeah, this is just link.springer.com. But again, I had showed you from the Kelvin Smith library page how to get here and navigate. And then, yes, when you're logged in through your institution, all your access is set up. Search bar at the top, and then pretty similar, you know, you can start by browsing the disciplines here. You know, it has everything that you would need. In the middle is going to be some highlighted content. You can click to a specific list of all the journals or all ebooks. You can see there are book series, there's protocols there, ref works, and proceedings. So you can start there. But again, you know, I think most people are going to start by typing in a search term, and that's right at the top. Just to the right of the magnifying glass is this kind of wheel. That is for the advanced search, and that's completely the same as nature.com, right? You can put in, you know, does it contain this term? If you have an exact phrase, author information, title. So, you know, basically the same. And then this would be a search term. So for this, here we go with your results on the right. And then on the left here is where you would find your filters. And it filters a bunch of different ways. So in this search, which is obviously very general, there are over 983,000 results. The first thing I'd point out here is you will see at the top, it'll say there is this box that says include preview only content, and it's automatically checked. What that means is it's including things that you don't have access to, right? So this is kind of all encompassing. You will want to uncheck that box, and then it's going to restrict it to specifically the search results that you do have licensed. And then from that point, you can see, well, it may be a little hard to see, but I will go through this live too. So you can set through these filters. First is content type. So if it's a book chapter, journal article, conference paper, and then if it's actually a specific book, you can click on that and you can see it's also going to show you the number of results that will be yielded by that. So if you wanted to look at chapters, it's going to already it'll take your overall search down from 983,000 to about, I think that says 452. And then beyond content type, so then you go to discipline, then there's subdiscipline, and then language finally. So you can see how those filters work. And again, you'll notice this kind of orange icon next to this article that says open access. So again, when you're in the search results, anything that's open access will be labeled as such. And then in the top corner, which may be of interest, so this orange icon is where you could take this set of results, you could set up an RSS feed for yourself. And then there's this downward arrow, which that will allow you to download this list of results. So if you had, you know, a specific search term in there and you wanted to save that list of content, or if you had filtered and to say, you know, the number of books and you wanted to save that list of books, you can do that right there. This is more on the filters. I kind of just talked through that. And then more, so when we look a little closer at the search results, you know, it's just labeling the different pieces of this content. So you can see at the top chapter, that's the type of content it is. This is obviously the URL linkable name of the chapter with a bit of a description. You're going to have your author listed here. And then next to that is the book that this chapter is a part of with the copyright year. And then there is a download button. So you can download the PDF right there if you like, or you would just click on the title and it'll take you to the full text with the abstract and everything. Same as on nature.com. So it's automatically going to filter your results by relevance. You could do it by most recent. You can see here, you can click on this and actually put in a specific date range if you wanted to do it that way. And then, as I mentioned, yeah, we have your download and your RSS buttons are right there. Okay, so let's say we found an article we wanted. Click on that, and this is going to take us to the article page. So going from top to bottom here. So this is, I know it's hard to see, but this is the actual journal. Okay, and it's got your information with the date it's published, which volume, which issue, number of pages. This is the title. Then your author information, which we've covered. So you can see the last one here has that envelope icon. So you can get their information, maybe contact them as well. This is open access, so it will have that designation and it'll be highlighted in red or orange just to make it stand out so you're aware. And then the journal metrics are here. Number of shares, number of downloads. Again, if it has citations, any metrics that are involved will be listed there as applicable. And then you have your download PDF is right there. And then you can also, right from here, if you want to cite this article, you can do that just below the download button. You can share it. And then you have your table of contents that you can click through and navigate the article that way. These are just the different formats. So you can see it has instructions on how to cite and the available formats are there for you if you wanted to do such. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the article page, when you get to the references bit, obviously it's listing all these, but it does include these linkable sources, right? So you can go to the actual source of all the references that were used, which I think is helpful as well. And then about the article, it's just going to give you the basic information. You can click to the actual journal page, ISSN information if you need it. And then below that is personalized recommendations. So when I was talking about this for nature.com, registering and, inputting your subject areas of interest, things like that, that's how it will personalize these things. And it also, of course, uses, the search result that you're looking at. So based on this article, it's going to give you some other recommendations that may be of interest. And then below that, you can see you want recommendations via email. You can do that. And if you don't want to receive the emails, you don't need to do that, of course. But it will be more optimized for your personal search when you log into the site. Okay, this is so the journal page. So that what we were just looking at was a specific article page. If you were to have clicked out and you wanted to come to the actual journal and browse that, this is what it looks like. On the right, there is the cover image, and then you can see it has the impact factor, the number of volumes, number of articles, number of open access articles, and that's actually linkable or clickable. So you can go to all the open access articles for this title. Below that is any other affiliations that the journal may have, whether it's a society or another organization. And then stay up to date is below that, is a bit where you could sign up for alerts and those things. And then, yeah, here is just quite simply browse volumes and issues for this title. And then this will pop up here. So you can see the date ranges, which volume and issue, and they're all drop downs. It'll give you the list of articles, and you can go through all them as you see fit. And then the about the journal. So this, again, it's most everything is going to be clickable for you. So if you're on this journal title, Analytical and Bioanalytical Chemistry, of course it has the date ranges of its publication, ISSNs, and then it has additional links, information on the editorial board, manuscript submission. You can do it directly here. It has all the information provided for you on how to do that. And then related topics. So you can go out this way, and then this would basically bring you to a list of search results from the start based on these terms or even specific industry sectors. Okay, and then again, never hurts to remind everyone of the accessibility. Of course, it's the same for both our platforms, making sure everything is updated and compatible with the most recent updates as that goes. Okay, so let me now just switch this one more time, just one more, I think. And I would just want to go to the live site again, because I think it's helpful to just do a quick search and run through kind of what we just looked at. I think it makes more sense that way. So again, if we're just looking at the home page, right, you come in, you're logged in from your library page, link.springer.com. Here's what you're going to see. Like I said, you have your disciplines, then you have featured journals, featured books, and this is basically a ticker showing you what's available. So there are 14.5 million resources or content pieces that are available on this site. The majority obviously is articles, and then you have your chapters, and then breaks it down all the way down to our videos product. But again, I mean, maybe, but I don't know if anyone will start by looking at an A to Z list of journals and going that way, but rather with a search. So just to put a term in immunology, okay, you come to the site and you want to see what do we have for this term. Okay, immunology, there are almost 300,000 results. And like I said, so you don't have to, but if you unclick this to include preview only, so now we take that away, and now it drops. It's still over 260,000, but this is specific to what you have access to through your license. All right, so that'll make things a little bit easier for you and avoid some paywalls if there are any. And then, yep, here are those filters that we talked through. So again, you can see from the list, it's going to show you at the top, it'll show you this is a book, right? This is a journal article, reference work entry below that. Let's go with journal articles. Okay, so that drops our searches to 188,000. And you can see it's going to keep track of your filters here. And you could always remove them if you want. But again, sorted by relevance, date ranges can be changed there. And it also shows you, so there are 12,619 preview only results. You could click here and that'll include them back. I'm going to leave it unclicked, but just know that you could, if you were interested and wanted to look at these, you can. Okay, so now we're on immunology articles. Let's drill this down for life sciences discipline. Right now we're getting down there. So now it's 25,000 results. Let's do this a little further and let's do subdiscipline, and let's just stick with our search term and do immunology. Okay. Now we have 6425 results, and let's just do English language just to do it. Okay, so you can see this string of the filters you set up, right? So you can X out and remove them if you want. But again, so now we just brought the search results down. So now you have access to 6,267 of these articles. So let me click on one. All right, this one from 2002. So of course you can see here, very simply, download button is right there in the top right for you. So you can download the article here. Author information, like I had mentioned earlier. Right, so we can see that. You can search for the author in PubMed or Google Scholar if you like. This one has 128 downloads, 8 citations. This is your description of metrics right there. And then the other thing that's pretty cool, so the abstract is here. As you can see below the abstract, you are going to have this little notice that shows you see access is provided by the libraries of Case Western Reserve University. So if the download button wasn't enough, this little banner here below the abstract will just confirm for you that you have access, and it's through your library. And it also has here, if you want to download to read the full article text, just do that. And there you go, right? And the article pops right up for you there. So pretty simple navigation. I think just keeping in mind how to use those filters from the search is probably the best way for you and other researchers to use the platform. Obviously, these are your references, and you can click through. That's going to take you to the specific article, the source of the references, or through Google Scholar or PubMed or CAS if it's there. Okay, and then this is that other information. You can get a shareable link if you want to send this to someone else. But those are the other kind of bits of journal information that we had seen on the slides before. This is the journal itself. So if we want to go back and see what else is available from this journal, here we are. And that's just has the affiliations, everything else we talked about, editorial board, the aims and scope, and everything there. And then, yep, one last time I'll point this out, submit manuscript button is there. So all the information for authors is there, as well as the direct submission link. Okay, so that's again pretty quick run through. I mean, I think we really strive to have the both platforms as straightforward as possible, and to really take into account the way that researchers are seeking out their content and the way they like to search for it. So that's why it's we focus a lot on how the advanced search works, and incorporating these different filters to provide you with a large set of results, but also make it easier for you to kind of drill down to the specifics that you're looking for. Did any other questions come in, Evan, as I was going through that part?
I haven't seen any yet, but certainly invite our attendee to submit anything. And of course, anybody watching this, feel free to send any questions. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to send any questions to me or to any librarians at KSL, and we can either attempt to answer them ourselves or maybe forward them to Dennis, and we'll get those answered for you. I do have a question myself. Turn my video on here. As far as the Nature titles on the Nature website, are those not duplicated, but they're accessible also through Springer Link?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, all the Nature titles. So yeah, we acquired Nature in 2015, I believe. But the platforms are still very separate. They really are their own thing. So yeah, nature.com you would have to use that. There is no linking out to the different ones. Gotcha.
And okay, and then just to reiterate for everybody, to access any of the Nature titles, actually, you can go to our eJournal portal from our homepage and look up a specific title that you're interested in. I wonder if there's any way on the kind of full list of Nature titles on, I guess it's just nature.com, if it can show once we're logged in with SSO, which titles we have access to or which we don't. I was looking and I didn't get the impression that there was any easy way to tell.
Right. If you just go to nature.com, it's not gonna put up an icon, you have this necessarily. I maintain a list of what you do have licensed, so I'm happy to provide it, and sure. That could maybe be incorporated into your discovery layer or your journal searches. But yeah, I mean, you still, like, I don't think I showed it on nature.com. I showed it on Springer Link, where there's that little banner that says you have access to this.
Right.
That'll show up too if you're on your search and you come to an article page or a journal page. It'll show that.
Oh yeah, and just kind of further anticipating, I know all the kind of questions that we get. If you're looking for an article that on either, well, especially on Springer Link, I guess, and you get to a paywall, I want to just remind everybody that you can always use interlibrary loan So you can contact us if you don't know how to invoke that. But we do want to know certainly what you want what you want access to, because we want to know what you're interested in, so that we can then modify our subscriptions if we need to, and actually subscribe to another journal. So do let us know. Did have another question. If Anisha, we're still inviting you to ask any questions that you may have, but I'll ask. Trying to remember what the other one I was going to ask was. Well, I should say just before I forget that it's fantastic that the nature titles are well. So is it just nature, or is it multiple nature titles that are going open access?
Yeah, it's multiple. So there are a few now that are fully OA already, like Nature Communications is one. Scientific Reports is fully OA.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then there are a few other ones that are similar to Nature. They're in this transformative phase now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big deal for us, for sure. It's a large undertaking, but I think it's the way things are going, have been going. So yeah, we're excited to kind of introduce this now.
I did think of the other thing. So if you're on Springer Link, and you had mentioned this earlier, you can access Springer Nature experiments through that. They'll just be part of the search results as a kind of a separate resource type?
Yeah, so right, if you put in a search term in that first filter box, the content type, it'll specify protocols, so you can go right to that. There is a landing page for Spring. So let me just say for our own edification. So you'll hear both terms, Springer experiments and protocols. So the way to differentiate it is Springer Nature Experiments is basically a portal or a landing page that houses protocols, right? So protocols is the actual product that you would use in the lab. So if you hear that, that's how you would differentiate those. A lot of times, more often than not, we'll just say Springer Nature Experiments because it's more all-encompassing. But yeah, that just refers to protocols. Yep.
Okay, and we might do a separate session on that in the future, especially if we have.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. Yeah, so I know that this one is really pretty general, just on the platforms themselves. But yeah, I mentioned before how we have product specialists for protocols and other things like that. And I think it would definitely be helpful. I've attended and sat in on a number of them myself, and the product specialists are happy to do it. And they kind of do a tutorial like that of how to use protocols, and they have a lot of good information. So I think if we want to do that, set up a half hour, 40 minutes to do that at some point. I know he would be more than happy to do it. And so would I. So yeah, let's keep that in mind.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if anyone's interested, again, feel free to email me or contact the library, especially if you're particularly interested in that. Since we don't have any more questions at this point, I'm going to thank you again, Dennis, for presenting, and let everybody know that I think it's October 20th. We have our next in the series, Library Resources Lab series on SciFinder N. We'll have someone from CAS presenting. So thanks again, Dennis. And again, please feel free to send any questions to me. And if we can't ask them, we will reach out to Dennis and get those answered for you. So,
great.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.